apologize, it's raining and I feel like you can probably hear it, but I just really want to get this out there because I really am excited about this video. Okay, hi, hello, it's Denj. Welcome back if you've been here before, and like I said, hello if you're new. So this video is about the gravity shelf, that's what I call it. There's literal minimal setup. There's no like actual work to assembling it. There's no nails, there's no instructions. It's like literally put the two side pieces up and then put the shelf on top. The pros of this thing is it's super easy. It really doesn't take that much time. It's cheap. And it's very portable. The only downside is that it works pretty much only for closets or lockers or things of that style with 3 enclosed walls or even 2 enclosed walls. First, my dad and I cut my wood. So my steps were cutting the boards to size. If you don't own a saw or don't know how to use a saw, I just use plywood, but you could get it ordered, cut to the sizes you want. I know it's a little more expensive, but it's not crazy expensive from the places that I've looked at least in my area. Hey fam, I did an awful job explaining the assembly process and the dimension process, so editing Denj is here with some diagrams. The shelf is composed of 2 main pieces with an optional 4th piece. Of course, the dimensions will be different in your space, as these are the dimensions that fit my personal pantry. But for the main shelf piece in yellow here, my dimensions were 12 inches deep by 21 inches wide. This would fill the pantry space with just enough wiggle room to put the shelves in. Then I have the side supports in blue here. I made 6 in this size for the desired height of my shelf. All of these were cut to be 12 inches tall and 11 inches deep to support the yellow shelf pieces. The next piece I have is a different size support. I made 2 of these because I wanted the bottom area of my shelf to be a bit higher off of the ground so that I could put taller items on the floor. These pieces were 18 inches tall by 11 inches deep. Lastly, I made another optional piece to help keep the side pieces in line and staying up, supporting the shelves, since they're likely to be holding more weight than the version of this that I made for my lockers in high school. These are 11-inch long strips that are 1 inch wide, and I put 2 of these on the bottom of each yellow shelf piece, about 1 inch from the sides. For assembly, you simply put the desired side pieces against the wall and then stack one of the shelf pieces on top. You then repeat again until the process is done to the height of your shelf. And then these shelves are completely customizable, and you can choose to have each shelf layer at whatever height you want, which is why I love these shelves for closets and lockers and stuff. I remember my high school locker, I think I had 2-foot tall shelves, and the bottom area was about 8 inches tall, so I could fit shoes under there, and then I had a huge backpack coat spot that was about 18 inches tall, just so I could like keep everything organized and everything off the floor. So these seem great for closets and stuff. Hope this was helpful. Hey, so I'm making a shelf for my pantry because we don't have one. My family has some plywood over there. This is our messy garage, don't mind it, but that's their spare plywood. So I cut some pieces. These are the like walls of the shelf, and over there I just finished sanding, what is that called? The shelf portion of the shelf. And with these, I screwed on, with these, sorry about the lighting, I screwed on some little 1 inch wide plywood pieces so that we can hold the shelf up with our pantry walls and those legs that I showed you over there, the like side pieces. So I'm currently just sanding them, making them all smooth so I don't like die when I paint them. I ever so slightly rounded the corners, but it was mostly so that I wouldn't like cut myself while I was painting or moving them. I laid my cut and sanded pieces out on a painting tarp in my basement and began to paint. There were about 3 coats of paint total on these boards by the end of the project. I put 1 base layer on of a ceiling paint we had laying around, something relatively cheap. Wood is incredibly absorbent, so it's important to put a base layer on so that your colors come out bright. base coat, I recommend not using one of your colored paints if you are planning to paint them a color, because wood is really absorbent and it sucks in a lot of paint. So I painted one layer to make sure that that would be the color absorbed into the wood, and then I painted 2 layers of the colors on it. Alright, so it's been about 4 hours since I finished painting the coat on these. The first coat, so I'm going to paint white on the bottom of these pieces, and I'm going to paint some gray on all of those side pieces. I've decided I don't have quite enough of either color to finish the whole shelf. So I'm going to go with this pretty gray color for the sides of the shelf, and this really pretty, this light does not do it justice. It's like a nice tealy blue color for the actual shelves themselves. Alright, this is the battle scene. I accidentally forgot that one the first time. I finished painting the gray, and then I finished painting the white, and I was like, nice, and I looked up and that one was still white, so that's why it's a different color. But I'm gonna let these sit for another 4 hours. It's about 7 p.m., but honestly I never sleep, so I'm happily going to paint another coat of the gray on that tonight, and then the first layer of the teal on this one. Let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow I should paint the second I'll be able to paint the second layer of the teal and maybe a little bit of white if it's necessary on these on the bottom. And that would be that. I'm excited. Hello, we're back. It's now 11:30 p.m. I'm about to paint the next layer on this thing. I decided to change from this dark tealy color to this coral shade. I just think it'll look a little better in our kitchen, and I discussed it with the roomies. That's a little too dark. Don't mind me, I'm just painting on the floor over here, but I figured I'd use this time to have a little chat. As much as, being quarantined and locked down is kind of scary and it sucks, I feel like as a society, a lot of people have been reflecting on our consumerism. At least the people that I've seen on the internet and around in my circles have been reflecting on how we shop and why we shop and what is it really serving. And a lot of people I've seen pick up things like sewing and knitting and more sustainable ways of living. And I think it's been a really good opportunity for people to slow down and really ask themselves, why? Why am I doing the things that I do? Who am I doing things for? And am I actually happy with my situation? All of these terrifying life questions. I find that scary times bring those questions out in people. And as much as it kind of sucks to be going through it, I'm really grateful for the time that I have in this pandemic situation to be reflecting on that. I don't know, I'm just very grateful for the time that I've had to reconsider what I want in life and what I've been up to, and I think I would have just kept plummeting down the path that I was previously on if I didn't have this time to stop and reflect and make sure that that was actually what I want to do. I think I would have been happy on the path that I had previously set for myself. I just don't know that I would be as happy as I am now, consciously revisiting what I want, if that makes sense. Alright, so it's just about 11:45. I finished painting. Those ones are done. And it's a coral color. In this light it looks absolutely orange, but I promise it's not. These ones need another coat, and then we are ready to assemble it in the apartment. So excited. And then I transported them to the location, which is my apartment. I'm currently not living there. I'm living at my parents' house right now. Then assembly, it's really simple. You take your 2 side pieces and you put them on the sides of the space, and then you layer on the shelf piece that matches it, or any shelf piece that goes on top with there, and then you just repeat that again on top of that shelf layer. The first couple layers will be really wobbly until it's all on there stacking and supporting itself, and then it will become really firm and solid, kind of like industrial shelving units with the metal little L-shaped things that go on the edge. They're really wobbly at first, and then they get bigger. For assembly, it might require 2 people depending on the length of the space that you're working with. Me, I managed to put it up honestly with my hand and my foot, and I really wish that I remembered to film the putting up of the shelf because that would have been really funny for you. But here's the final product, and it's full of all of the stuff that we used it for, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to do a lot of good for the apartment that I share with my 2 roommates, and it will give us a lot of space to, you know, vibe and store things that wasn't really usable before. So again, my name is Denjamin. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. This is the channel where I post lifestyle videos, acoustic covers, and occasionally original music of mine when it comes out. If that sounds like something you're into, then subscribe below, and if you like this video, make sure to go to thumbs up so I know to make more like it in the future. See you later. Bye-bye.